All right, we have the agenda for the board meeting for this evening. First, as we board, I'll ask you the same thing as I always ask. Would you like me to facilitate your meeting this evening?
Yes, please.
Okay, be glad to. Determine quorum. We do have a quorum of the board. I will put the minutes up on the screen that we had. Let's see, I have to change my mode here in Acrobat.
No.
Just a moment. No? Somebody said no. Okay. All right, there's the minutes for October 28th. Board, if you'd like to review those, and we'll entertain a motion.
A motion that we approve these.
Hey, Kevin, do I have a second from the board?
A second.
We have any further board discussion of the motion? We have any homeowner discussion of the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. For the benefit of the homeowners that may have not been at a meeting of the board before, so this is a board meeting for the board to conduct board business. There are two opportunities and maybe a little more for homeowners to discuss or chime in. At every motion, we'll ask for a first from the board or who makes the motion, a second from the board, and then the board discusses the motion. It's open for homeowner discussion on that motion before the vote. And that's by state statute. And then, of course, you see on the agenda, we have another homeowner forum open. During the meeting, there may be an occasional board wants some input or can ask questions of members. But that's really the only times that members are invited to speak or to speak there. But we'll have some discussions perhaps. Okay, that's passes. We also had a November 9th quickie board meeting. If you'd like to review those minutes, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second that.
Any further board discussion?
Yeah, I have a discussion. Right in the middle of those meetings, there's a motion to add 600 more plants to the proposal, which passed.
Correct.
And I think that's also on the agenda tonight. So
That's correct. That's 600 more on top of that.
It was 1,200, then we went to 1,800. Now we're going to go to 2,400.
Correct. That's what you
I
wanted.
understand.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, any further board discussion?
Thank you for the clarification.
Any homeowner discussion?
Yes, I do.
Please.
I'm not too sure if the HOA is aware that when the first HOA board meeting was enacted, I was a part of that board. And we went around on a tour of the old HOA grounds, including the irrigation systems. So that sparked a little thing, a little flag went up when you're saying about planting. Are you aware that the emitters that the original landscapers put in were not adapted to the type of irrigation water we have? That they had screens on these emitters, and with our algae and reclaimed water, it was clogging those lines. So I do not know if the HO is aware that if you plan on putting in new planters, that the old emitters may not be providing water because they're being blocked by a screen emitter. And the board never went in and finalized having all those emitters changed over. So that's raising a very critical point. If you're investing all this money, is how do these plants plan on being watered if you're assuming the irrigation is still the original irrigation of the HOA?
Any board member want to address that, or would you like me to?
We changed a lot of the spaghettis and the lines to, for instance, on Reseda, on Quinn, we changed a lot of that. One of the problems that we have is the valves at the original landscaping up to 6-7 years ago, actually until now, they're still using a regular valve versus a recycled water valve,
Right.
which is a pink head. And we are changing, eventually we're changing all of them. There's approximately 200 of them that needs to be changed. We are changing that, but also we are asking the golf course to give us good, clean water, because you can only get, you get as good as the water that they give you, and no matter what you do. So we're hopeful that golf course works with us and does a great job. We trust them.
Yeah, Bill, you
A
you
second
do,
point
go ahead.
that I'd like to make is that, yeah, Bill, we're completely aware of the problems with pumping recycled water from a lake. But the process that our landscapers go through as they plant is that they do not plant anything that does not have an emitter next to it, and they do not plant anything that where the emitter does not work. So this is a partial, upgrade of the system as we go. We're aware of the fact that these plants will all die by June if we don't have good water. Also, the landscapers have, I believe, 3 work crews plus 1 irrigation crew that swing through the association every week, and so they're really paying quite close attention to what's going on with the irrigation. There's a lot of work going on with it, but it's as you would do in your yard. If you notice a problem, you pop off that emitter and fix it. So we're aware of the problem. I hope that second thing, the plants are guaranteed. So if they are not properly irrigated, then they'll get replaced. We just hope that we don't have to waste effort and time in doing that. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does. I appreciate it. It's just that there is one area, I believe it may have nothing to do with water. I'm not too sure. Over on the south end of the HOA, off of Greenfield, the entrance where you go right in, I think it's Estrella is the entranceway. And then you have that retention basin. Right at the entrance, right there off of Greenfield, there is a south border wall that used to have those tall green, they just go straight up in the air. And they were dying right after being planted. And I did not see the landscapers rectifying the situation, or we had a heavy windstorm come in. One was tilted. There was no correction. To eventually, I believe in the last couple of months, they were removed because they were just totally dead. So I wasn't too sure if it was because of sun or there was no water getting. So apparently the bottom line is anything that's planted there in that particular section dies. So I'm assuming there's something to do with the water issue.
Are you talking about off of Camellia?
Thank you. That's what, yes. So on the south side of Camellia off Greenfield, there's that wall that several times they tried to plant things there, would just not take, they just die. So that's why it led me into believe there's something maybe with the water issue, or it is because of the sun. That's
now the corner of that wall that faces Greenfield belongs to the HOA.
Both walls.
The south wall belongs to the homeowner.
No, it's a common wall. So we have the
Is that a
grass
common
area.
wall?
No, Ron, it's HOA.
Is that sure? Okay.
That one is the
yeah.
northern entrance, the entrance north of that isn't. But on Camellia, both sides of Camellia going in towards the basketball park are HOA.
Yeah, so
Okay,
it's not the
perfect.
strip on Camellia. It's right there on the corner of Greenfield and
Yeah,
Camellia.
Okay, got it.
yeah, the cypresses were pulled out and Mediterranean palms were put in there. But that's a good thing to keep an eyeball on that one, see if there is still an issue. It may be one of the areas they replace valves. They are replacing valves as necessary. They haven't done a wholesale replacement, but all the valves that the landscaping company inherited when they came on a year ago were not recycled water valves. They're not those pink heads, which that's is part of the problem, is they do get clogged up. So
Right.
yeah, it's clogging of emitters, it's valves, it's, other areas that we're, fighting with. But it has gotten better. I will say that.
Yeah,
over
okay.
the last year.
That was my only concern about that with the water.
We're good. Any other comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, any opposed? All right, the motion to approve the November 9th minutes of the board meeting are passed. Okay, financials. Well, now we'll do financials again. You just went over them. It's the same set of financials. I didn't highlight these. Anybody think of any questions between last time and this time? And board, they're in your packets. If you want to entertain a motion to approve the financials in your packets, it's redundant, but they are separate meetings. So I'd like to have you approve the financials for the board.
I make a motion that we approve the financials as presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the board side? Any further discussion on homeowners? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes. Thank you. Okay, board positions. So board, this is where you play tiddlywinks or arm wrestle or whatever you feel is necessary to determine who is president, vice president, and secretary and treasurer and members at large. So who would like to be president or self-nominate, and then you can vote on that person or persons.
I motion for Kevin to be president.
Okay, we have a motion to nominate Kevin. Would you accept the nomination, Kevin?
Yes, I will.
Okay, do we have any further nominations? Okay. All in favor of Kevin being president?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed from Kevin being president? Kevin, would you accept being president?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. You are the president. All right, vice president. We have any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Ron.
Ron, do you accept the nomination for vice president?
I do.
Any further nominations for vice president? All in favor of Ron being vice president?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. The train is leaving the station officially. Okay, that's a joke. We have a nominations for treasurer.
I motion for Art to be the treasurer.
Art, do you accept the nomination for treasurer?
Yes, I do.
We have any other nominations for treasurer? All in favor of Ron being all in favor of Ron being treasurer,
Art being treasurer.
of Art being Art treasurer, or Art May being treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Art, you accept the position of treasurer.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. We have any nominations for secretary?
Todd Millsap.
Todd, do you accept the nomination for secretary?
I do.
Good. We have to buy you a video camera for the next meeting?
No, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Okay, we'll work on that with you. Any further nominations for secretary? All in favor of Todd being secretary?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. That passes. We have all the positions filled. Thank you very much. Meeting schedule. So for 2022, to put back in place a regular meeting where we can publish that out, what would you like to have as your meeting schedule?
Harmon, excuse me.
Yeah,
Harmon, Darius is trying to get a hold of you on the text.
oh, on my phone. Oh, he's texting my phone?
Yes,
I don't see him in the chat room.
I'm
Okay,
on it.
let me see. Yes, he is.
I don't know if you want to give the number so he can.
Well, he has to register. All right, like, can I join by phone? Yeah, but the phone is when you register, you get the phone. I'm not even sure I know what it is. Let me look at the meeting information. I will text him the information. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I can invite him. No, I can't do that. Okay, we have a couple of people on the phone. Can you give me the phone number you dialed in? Because I don't have that in front of me. It gives you on the link. Anybody that can give me a phone number, I can text him to call.
Let me see.
'Cause I can, meeting ID and the passcode I have, but it doesn't give you phone numbers. You know, that whole list of phone numbers. Actually, I know how to get it. Never mind. I do have it from a previous link.
Oh, okay, I think I have it if you need it.
Yeah, I have it, Harmon, if you need it, or Bill has it.
Okay, yeah, I've just literally just picked it up myself. Thanks. Except I gotta make it visible on my computer. Sorry. Come on. Okay. He has a phone number and he has a passcode and the meeting code. Uh, Let's see if that works for him. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Okay. Meeting schedule. Board, you wanted this on the agenda so you can decide what your meeting schedule would be for the rest of the year?
I suggest we do, now that we got the landscaping, everything under control, we do every other month, every fourth Thursday.
So
We
it'd be
fall in.
odd, like in, so this is January, you would want March, so the odd
Odd.
number months.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to that effect?
I motion that we do bi-monthly meeting for the homeowners.
Well, it's a bi-monthly board meeting on the fourth Wednesday would be
On
the
fourth
proper
Thursday.
motion. On Thursday, so say that motion.
Go ahead, Kevin, you say it.
I motion that the board meetings be the third Thursday of the odd months.
Fourth Thursday.
The fourth Thursday of the odd months.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second that.
We have any further board discussion? We have any further homeowner discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, landscape update. Art and Ron, you are the landscape committee-ish. Would you like to give us an update?
Or do you want me to go first, or?
Oh, I'll start.
Go ahead.
We had a very productive meeting yesterday in Harmon's office to discuss the landscaping. I'm not sure if the homeowners are aware or not, but the the owner and director of the landscape company tragically died a couple of months ago, and his son is now taking over. His son was in charge of all the field operations for the company, so we're in good hands there. He's just got to get a handle on the office operations from what I got from him. But we discussed putting in, we've got approval to put in 1,800 plants throughout the association on the association's edges between the curb and the walls on those pieces that the association owns. And we discussed using certain plants. The palette is going to be basically yellow from yellow bells and yellow yucca, red from red yucca, and I guess we have orange bougainvillea, blue from Texas sage, and they'll be put in groups of 5 to 7, just so they get to mass and you can see the color on them. As we mentioned earlier, of course, they're going to make sure they've got proper irrigation to them as they put them in. A point that was brought up by mail after that meeting was that 6 months ago we had a meeting with the then owner of the landscape company, and his proposal was to preserve the existing plants and then put the new plants in with those. The other alternative would be to remove the existing plants and put in all new plants. That's probably something we should discuss, but they're ready to go with the plants. We're thinking that especially in the southern part of the association, where there's an awful lot of bare space, that we're going to need more than just the 1,800 plants. So there's a discussion to also increase the plants by another 600 to go to 2,400 plants that would be scattered according to that yellow, red, blue palette that we have. So I think there's two things to discuss. One is, do we want to put in more plants? And secondly, do we want to leave the existing established plants or take them out and start over again so our color palette is more uniform? So that's what I got out of the meeting and the letter afterwards.
Ron?
Yeah.
Want to add anything to that?
Yeah, everything Art said. I just talked to Tyler. One of the plants that we have in the community that is kind of a pain, and they're older, over 20 years old, is desert spoons. Some of those are going to be removed as they're dying, and they're going to have to be removed anyway. And also there's some plants that we have certain plants. I think he misunderstood. There's certain plants that we have, like Texas sage, we want to add to them. But then there's some plants that was planted that are not looking good at all. Those we're going to talk about and eventually remove. His email was not really very clear. When we talked on the phone, Art and I are going to meet with him again and bring it to the board and see what the board wants to do. But the good news is we have put the rocks on the side. It makes sense to do additional 600 plants before we add the rocks, do 2,400 plants. And once we do the rocks, then we can maybe add boulders and create heights and do a beautiful design. I don't know if you have one of those pictures that you can put up, Harmon.
Of the renderings that
Yes,
that he did?
that he did.
I can do that. Give me a moment.
He did a great job of designing it. He's on the right path. Great kit.
Okay, we had 3 different renderings.
Yes.
This one is, he called it Reseda rendering with plant removals.
Yes.
So see if I can make that a little bigger.
Yeah, so he has the yellow bells in the middle. He
How
has,
does that look on your side?
looks great.
Okay.
He has the yellow bells, he has the Texas sage, and the red and yellow yuccas on the islands, which if we can add some boulders in there, it will look great. These are the focal point of the community as you enter. So you will get a nice lush landscape.
And here's one of the renderings. Let's see, it's this one. I think that this looks a little different. I think the more existing ones,
Yes.
the plants, and then here's this one. Different angle, I guess.
Some of those plants that you see like Bajas, they last about 20 to 25 years at the most. So they're on their last leg anyway. Those I don't mind if we change, but I'm not a big fan of killing plants. I like to add to the existing ones. So if they're not in good shape, let's get rid of them. That's my opinion. But yeah, this is another one that he did.
Okay.
With red bougainvilleas and silver sage and yellow bells and Texas sage.
Since you guys are working with them on placement, I think the decision you wanted tonight was to vote on adding the 600 more. So you want to make a motion to that effect?
I motion that we add 600 more plants, make it 2,400 based on the price that we agreed on the last 1,800.
You have a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Any further board discussion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion?
Yes, I do.
Please go ahead.
Based on these drawings, is this going to be unilaterally around every focal point of the association entrances? Or is this, are we focusing in certain areas?
Every entrance is going to have that kind of a look. And our main focus is obviously Knox is very raw, hasn't had anything. Possibly all of that line might need to be changed over there. And that's a different subject, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And I'm on the same wavelength to say that, yeah, I don't like killing plants. So that old additive goes, if it's not broken, why fix it? So replacing plants, I understand only if, like I say, if they're diseased or dying, but would the landscapers be replacing it with the same height of that plant you're taking out? So the uniformity across. So if you have, say, 10 sage bushes at a height of 3 feet, and you see one dead and you replace it, are you replacing it with a 3-foot tall sage, or are you putting a baby little plant in due to the cost?
Not based on $50 a month association fee.
Yeah, I would probably answer that. That was kind of opens up the discussion of what they're talking about of removing or not. So if you want 7 sages in a row, and you're right, the one in the middle dies, you're not going to put a 24-inch box sage in there. You're going to put a 5-gallon one.
Okay.
All the pricing that they've approved so far is all based on 5-gallon plants. The specialty specimens that when we did the entrances, like the med palms, those were 24-inch box, and they did some other trees that way, of course. But everything on this count of plants are all 5-gallon.
Right. I'm just going based on what I've seen them replacing plants and bushes, is that they come in back in, like you said, with a 5-gallon one. The previous one before that was 6 or 8 feet tall and they come back in with a mini plant. And I'm going, we have to wait another 6 or 8 years to get to the height when it should automatically be replaced by something similar in size to that. If it is dying, I'm saying, if it's diseased or dying or already dead, I just don't want to see a replacement when something living to make it look aesthetically nice. I just don't like killing plants. That's the thing. I'm on board.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. You know what? Difference between a 5-gallon plant and a 15-gallon plant is really about 6 months, maybe a year. And the board, and we rather save the money. And yes, there's 6 months of struggle, but they will get there in no time. And you're not going to find a yellow bell in a 24-inch box. So therefore, let's just work with this and be patient.
Yeah, I'm not getting into specifics. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a bell with a big huge. Yeah, I agree with you on the cost. I'm looking at that, hey, let's think of something else to say, I don't want to match it with a 10-foot tall. Can we replace with something else cost efficient that will grow in time? It's just being reasonable. So I do trust the board on that. It's just being aware that I just don't like to see 8 or 20 bushes all lined up. And I know it's not going to be like that, but I don't want to see height going across because the old plants are this high and the new ones are down here. I want to see uniformity across. So like I say, the rendering of the drawing is great, but the existing plants that may already be in there, I don't want to see them replaced just to accommodate the whole aspect of it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Another feature of desert plants and planting in inhospitable soil like what we have is that a smaller plant, say a 1-gallon or 5-gallon plant that is planted and struggles to survive is going to be much stronger in the 10 to 15 year period than is a one that's put in full grown because it has to adapt and grow into its situation. So in my previous life, I did a lot of landscaping on the freeways and rest areas throughout the state. And that was always their preference, was to put in nothing bigger than a 5-gallon, just so that it could grow and acclimate in situ and be stronger and survive a lot better in the changeable weathers. So I would imagine if it looked bad, that they could come in and trim the larger ones down, and then
Yes.
that would work too.
There you go. Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Can I have a question?
Sure,
Sure.
Tess.
Okay. That picture was really pretty, but that's awfully busy. That's a lot of plants. And the sad part about it is, it's pretty, but when I go for a walk in the morning, we have all these little perfectly round bushes. Nothing looks natural. If maybe we could save some money by putting in less bushes and have them grow a little bit and be more natural shape. Does that make sense? I guess it's just a matter of taste. Never mind.
No, actually, you brought up a good point. That was a discussion at the meeting they had to go to do the cut, natural cut. So now we're coming into spring. You're going to see what is called cutbacks. They're going to really cut everything down to small and let it go back. But the board asked them to let it grow back naturally, so we'll have more blooming foliage.
Oh, thank heaven. There's nothing worse than a square bush. I don't know what it is, but
It's preference. I like the Disneyland look personally, or
What?
Biltmore, but they don't flower,
well, that's true. But I just thought, if we're looking for maybe cutting cost, that picture, like I say, was beautiful, but that's a lot of plants. But for whatever. But it's
that was probably
it's
more than
pretty.
reality will be. I think that was his first, what's what they look like. So if you count up those plants, we'll put 500 in every corner maybe, but I don't really know the count.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Another point,
Ron,
Tess,
go ahead, guys.
another point, Tess, if you look at those, the red yuccas, they bloom first thing in the spring. The yellow bells, they bloom middle of the summer to the fall. The Texas sage blooms in the late spring, early summer. So those mock-ups were all in full bloom. In reality, they're going to change colors as the
Oh,
seasons
okay.
change. They bloom in different seasons.
Good point. Okay, thank you.
We're good. Any other- Go ahead, Kevin. You have to raise your
I
hand.
just want to make sure that the bougainvilleas are going to be planted in the back, not in the front. So
Yes.
when they overtake stuff, they don't hide anything.
That was another major point discussion that Ron and Art emphasized with the landscaping.
We're gonna do, Kevin, we're doing torch bougainvilleas. They don't get as tall and they're not as messy, which would eliminate any kind of a blockage, and they will be put in the back in a group.
Okay, thank you.
Good discussions. Any other discussions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Wall report. I just put it on here to emphasize that we finally received the wall report, all 435 pages of it. We just, the board literally received it. I gave you the link because you can't email it. It's too big. It's like half a gigabyte in size. So board, start reviewing that because that'll be a major subject at the next meeting to come up with the plan of prioritizing which walls need to be serviced first. So just emphasizing. Did you want to make any comments about the wall report other than that?
Armin, did they make any recommendations on which walls should be replaced first?
They categorized it, but not as a detail level prioritization that I think you would, to say, you know, here's like ABC. I think we need like 1 to 10.
Hello, my name is Rod Tolman.
Yes, Rod, go ahead, please.
On Quinn down here, I've been in here about 8 or 9 months now. We've still got that wall with the fence. What's going on with that? Because I knew there was a lawsuit with it.
It is being constructed. The center portion, as far as that is finished, except the painting and stucco. The northern section of the house north just passed rebar inspection Friday and Monday this last week. So concrete is next. It's just taking a long time to do these things between materials and labor and getting concrete. Hopefully we'll get these walls done soon in the next month or two and be done with it finally. So it has been a year and 3 months since that event happened. So you've only lived it for half of that time. The rest of us have been looking at it that long. So all of us want to get that finished as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay.
Hey, Armin. This is the homeowner of whose perimeter wall fell down November of 2020. I've got 2 questions. First question is, the wall that you just stated is completely done, the center wall. It's about 80% complete. We haven't seen the contractor in about a month and a half. There's absolutely nothing taking place or going on. When will my wall be completely done? As I mentioned to you, it's been down since November of 2020, as well as these guys started construction back in September of last year. Do you have an update?
I just gave you an update, sir. The rebar on the northern side is done. When all the walls are done, then all the walls will be stuccoed and all the walls will be painted. I believe that's all that's left on your wall is paint and stucco. Am I correct?
No, unfortunately, you're not correct.
What's not done?
When you have some time, feel free to meet me at the property. I'll be more than happy to walk you through. There's still 2 levels of the cinder blocks that are not attached, put together. It's still not the correct height where the wall was previously. So that still has to get completed, as well as you mentioned, the concrete, the stucco. Plus on the inside of my wall, there's big trenches that still need to be filled in, backfilled with dirt, as well as the landscaping rocks. So I think the best thing for you to do is actually make an appointment, stop by here, I'd be more than happy to walk you through the property, but the wall is still not complete. Plus, the contractor hasn't been here, as I mentioned to you, in over a month and a half.
Okay, I'll give you a call.
So, second question I have concerning the wall, the contractor you chose, unfortunately damaged my pool.
I would stop right there, John. Don't go there. The
No,
lawyers are discussing it. You can't do that, sir.
I'm not discussing anything. So hear
Don't
me
bring
out.
it up.
We sent you guys a letter about a month ago, which has not been addressed.
I'm sorry I had to do that. That's inappropriate and off subject and part of a legal discussion currently going on. I'm going to stop you again, sir. Don't talk about it.
When will you respond? That's my question.
I'm not talking about it. The lawyers are talking. I have to turn your mute off also, sir?
The question is, when will the board respond? That's it.
Sir, the
I'm not-
lawyer, it's in the lawyer's hands. I'm asking you 3 times now. Your lawyer and the HOA's lawyers are in the discussion of this. This is not a subject for the
You're
open
not
meeting.
getting it. You don't have the correct information. Please don't make those assumptions. I have my right to discuss anything at these board meetings. I will not
No,
be.
you don't. You don't. I'm sorry. We're not discussing this. Sorry about that, everybody. These are ongoing legal issues. All right, fences in the gates in the parks. So we had that on the agenda. It was asked for by one of the homeowners. Since we have muting turned off, you can't unmute yourself. Would ask you if you raise your hand if you would like to unmute, and I will ask you to unmute. I'm going to unmute or ask to unmute the board members. Okay. I know, Bill, you wanted to talk about the gate, so that's why it's on there. I'm going to let the board open up the discussion first.
Okay,
Art, Todd, Kevin?
just my initial take is that while our HOA documents are sort of dark and confusing, there is text in there that says that there's only certain places you can put a gate, and that's generally on the front of your house, either to the right or left of the house, and they don't really want you to have a gate or an opening through what you might think of as a side fence. That's in there. Like I say, it's perhaps not as clear as it could be. A second thing is that we're talking about openings in the fences at the parks. While that might make it easier for you to get to and from the parks, it's also a security issue. You may end up with people coming from the parks into your property. You may want to consider that before you put in a gate. And that's all I had to say.
Okay, Bill, let me find you here. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, so I heard from homeowners basically with that yes, they would like to see about that question about adding a gate in, right, for easier access to the park rather than having, hate to say it, but children walking the street to get to the park. And it is not really a good reasoning, but it is something that the homeowners can say as a selling point, as a selling point to sell the house to a family being our size. The other question that came up was liability. I put a questionnaire back to the board is, can you please define liability to the fact to where it's the homeowner who's taken the liability 50-50, I'm going to say 50-50, putting the point that yes, once the intruder or the persons walk onto the property, it is the homeowner's liability issue. The only thing I can think of, I'm not a lawyer, is that because the HOA granted permission to put a gate in, that's how the HOA becomes liable to it. My compromise being to the board is that would the board be willing to have an affidavit on file, the homeowner releasing the HOA of any responsibility whatsoever, that the homeowner takes on 100% of the liability? That's one question. That's on that. The other thing goes back to the past, the association where people who have a common wall with the golf course. Back at the time when I was on the board, the issue came back as far as who's going to maintain that landscaping. We assumed it was the golf course. It's on their property. It came back that no, the golf course saying is that land between the golf cart path to the wall of the HOA, that's not the golf course property. That's HOA common property. I wasn't on the board long enough to find out what the solution was on that, other than that the golf course would step up and do the maintenance of cutting it. So I don't want to get a false pretense just because they're doing the maintenance on that land. It is actually the golf course's land. I'm assuming that land is a common wall land.
And you want to give me a specific of which wall that I can point to on a map?
Oh, I'm looking at basically, if you look at the golf course, and I do not know if you're going to see a golf cart path that goes in and it parallels along with the common wall that we have with the homeowner.
Oh, okay, so give me an example. Give me a wall.
Boy, I don't play golf.
Oh, okay. So here, the reason why here, look at your screen. So
Okay.
here's the golf course. Okay, so let's just use this wall right here as an example.
Yeah, so like if you zoom a little bit out, you see a golf cart path.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking at that land between the golf cart path and our cinder block wall.
That's golf cart. It's owned by the golf course. There's no HOA land over there.
Okay, that's where the assumption came in, because
Yeah.
that's what came at the very beginning, because all it was just grass and weeds were growing and the
Yeah.
golf course was not maintaining it. So it got into discussion about who owned the land. I never heard back who actually, because now
Yes.
homeowners were installing gates to get access to the golf cart.
Yeah,
the
so
golf
here's a good example. This is on the end of Park Crest. So this little piece of land right here that I have highlighted in blue,
Mhm.
we get rid of that thing. That is actually HOA common area. And this is this view fence that was recently put in. But everything to the left of that or the west is all golf course. And then this is a common area. If you go back down here, where this home right here,
Right.
it's regenerating there. This home right here is, they have a shared fence with the golf course. There's actually a separate CC&R document with the HOA and the golf course. If you have seen that, it's on the website that defines the rights and responsibilities between those two parties. And unfortunately, the golf course in the document has no responsibility for anything. So that's not actually a common wall with the golf course. It's the wall of the homeowner.
Okay, but then the HOA is not involved whatsoever on that disputed land there.
That's correct. HOA is
Okay.
not involved in that piece.
So the issue would come up, like say, if a homeowner did install a gate back there to access to the golf course, that's between the golf course and the homeowner.
Yes, except, and again, I'm just thinking at the top of my head, there in the CC&Rs, any external changes to the look of your property, the board has the authorization to approve or not approve. What if they would extend that to a gate on a rear wall to the golf course? I don't know, but I'm just pointing that out.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, was that that's why I want to be very careful with the board by making a decision to say that either hey or nay. You got to look at the people who already have those gates back there, that if something happens, I was just trying to find out who owns it as a common wall. If it is a homeowner's wall, the homeowner's responsibility by putting in the gate in, see the liability issue that comes in. That's what I'm really looking at, is the liability. And that's where I'm saying is that if a homeowner wishes or desires to put a gate in to a common wall with the HOA, would the HOA board be willing to let the homeowner do so by having a gate, by absolving the HOA of any liability by having a legal document on file, so that if any future things come up, we have that affidavit or legal form on file absolving the HOA of any liability?
Board, would anybody like to answer that or take it under consideration for future, or what, how would you like to address it?
I have a comment. I think that if we're gonna get into legal documents, I think we need to get some legal input. I don't feel qualified to make that decision, but there's another point here that's not being discussed. And that is that the board is in charge of spending the money that is paid for by all the homeowners. And we represent every homeowner, not just the ones we're talking about right here.
Right.
And as I understand it, the board is responsible for 50% of the cost of maintaining that fence. And if a gate goes in, I choose to believe it's more expensive to maintain a gate over time than it is just a fence. So if we approved it, we would be approving a whole lot of homeowners to subsidize the gates of a few. And it's not something that I would be willing to decide lightly. It would take some serious discussion. I'd like to get some input from the homeowners who don't have that opportunity and ask them if they're willing to pitch money in to help cover the cost of these one or two gates. And then I'd also like to know, if we say yes, who else is going to stand up in line and say, well, I want one too? How many of them could we conceivably end up inadvertently approving by approving one? And I just don't have enough information to be making that decision.
Correct. I sympathize, empathize on that, because I am one of those people who say that, why am I paying another homeowner to have a gate when I decided I don't want to have a gate?
Right.
I agree on those terms to say yes. Anything where it's an I, the HOA would have the right to say no to, because it's got to incorporate the entire HOA homeowners. That's where, with that being said, I agree where it's a shared cost, the same terms. If the fence is in need of repair and it's shared with the HOA, yes, it's a 50-50 relationship. But if the homeowner says, I would like to have a gate, the I is responsible for anything to do with that gate, repair, replacement, anything, even if it damages the existing fence, the homeowner is liable. For me being a homeowner with some other neighbor, then going against my HOA saying, no, 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 because the fence did this, it upset my gate. No, that fence was in there as a fence, not for a gate to be put in. And if you're willing as a homeowner to put a gate in, you are accepting 100% of any liability, damages, and repair to that fence because of the I wanting a gate in there. I believe, to me, I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Agreeable with all terms to working out a resolution that everyone could be happy with. I just can't understand just saying flat out no. And I do appreciate you saying I need to see more information on it. I agree as well too, that we need legal information from people to find out, define the word liability and find out where it fits in with this type of situation.
Well, you keep using liability, and I'm using the word responsibility as in financial responsibility. But
Yes.
again, in order for me personally to vote for this, I need to get legal advice from someone, because I'm sure that our attorney knows better than I, and I'll comply with what the attorney tells us is right.
I agree too. I'm on the same page as you with that. I agree as well too, that we need the experts here to define it, to get your resolution to it, to what the answer of the situations can be. And yes, it is two separate issues of liability and responsibility, all of which would be on the homeowner based on the gate. The fence would still be a common wall fence between the HOA and the homeowner. I'm specifically talking about the gate itself, that if the gate does any damages, the homeowner's responsibility for it. If there's anything happening because of the gate, the homeowner's responsibility for it. Liability wise, if the homeowner, something with the HOA, the lawyer can draw up that both parties are in agreement with, I don't have an issue with it. But if it all comes down to legality, that's where I would side with what the lawyers decide on.
Okay, thank you very much.
I don't know how the rest of the board members feel, but should we suggest to Bill that if he is interested in this, set up make a request with his proposed agreement for responsibility, and we'll send it through the channels. Does that sound like something we're on? And Kevin?
Yeah, I was going to recommend that's a good way to get the ball going if we don't recall we had one. Bill, if you wanted to submit an architectural change request for the actual gate, and here's what you want, then that literally goes through the channels and we can see what happens. Just a minute. I'll let you back up.
Thank you. Yes, because I believe another homeowner already submitted one in. Could we already use that one? I have not, myself have not submitted one in, but I believe another homeowner has.
I vaguely recall one. I'd have to go through the files. I was just texting Naomi to see if she remembered us getting one.
The other thing was too, is that being that if I was against having a gate in, if a homeowner did want to have one, I would suggest to letting the board know that make sure that that gate assimilates to the same design of the fence, the existing fence, and putting some type of construction of a metal plate that would color match the cinder block wall it's replacing, so that if you were far back, it blends in. So I don't get different gates and styles all over the whole backside. I just want to make sure it all fits and it all looks nice, that you can barely see the outline of a gate and it all matches basically.
Yeah, there's some chats I'll bring up. One, Don is saying, please define gate versus wall. So this discussion is kind of specific to the park on the south end of the HOA where the basketball court is. So there's about 2 or 3 courses of cinder block and then a view fence all the way around. And I believe what Bill's bringing up is putting a view fence, a wrought iron style gate that would go in that view fence, but it would replace a couple courses of block that are the fence below it. Is that what you mean, Bill?
Correct. Is that where the cinder block is at, instead of having an iron rod, you would have like a metal sheet to cover it so you can color match it with the existing cinder block on the rest of the fence line. So I got from when you're far back on the other side of the park or close to it, you would not even notice it unless you were specifically looking at it to say, oh, that's a gate.
Yeah, so there's a definition for you, Don, between the wall and the fence.
It's a pony wall. Yeah, it's like a 2 to 3 foot tall pony wall, cinder blocks. And then on top of it is an iron rod fence.
So Naomi said don't recall having a gate ARC. So if we get a gate ARC request, then that would be a fresh new one, and that would be the way to put this through the system.
Okay.
If you want to do that, please. Okay, good discussion. Thank you.
Does Tess have a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, she does have her hand up. Tess, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say that was me who put in a request a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I was told I couldn't because of my pool. And I said, I don't have a pool. But just keep one thing in mind. I would like this to be researched because, first of all, these pony walls we have, the excuse I was given is because somebody could get into my backyard. If I had a gate, obviously you would keep it locked. And with these pony walls, it is so easy for somebody to jump over these fences into our yard versus scaling a regular concrete wall. So if somebody wants to get into our yard, they're going to get into our yard whether we have a gate or not. So to me, that's just kind of a moot point. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But by all means, let's explore this, because I think a lot of people with little kids would love to have a gate instead of having the kids walk all the way around the block to get to the playground. I think it's a great idea.
Tess, would you mind resubmitting the one you did that we denied already?
Well, shoot, you know what?
We'll take the pool out of it.
Well, I know, but you already replaced my gate. I could have had it done then.
Oh. Yeah, you had a new fence up.
I know. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for listening to me.
All right, thank you. Okay, we had a homeowner, actually two different things on the same park. There's the park north of Warner, and there was a discussion that the homeowner wanted to have of having a light put in that area. And then the board also, we discussed barbecues. There's the barbecue there is another one in another park, whether we should remove those old barbecues because they're just big ashtrays at this point. So board, what would you like to discuss on the light?
Well, it seems to me that we've had both appeals from homeowners, some wanting the light and some not wanting the light. And it seemed to be at our last discussion, it was kind of like 50-50. And we didn't know how we could satisfy one group without upsetting the other. And so it kind of just went away.
Any opinions on the barbecue?
I think barbecues are liability for, especially if I would like to see that gone. We took it out of the South Park, south of Knox. I wouldn't mind seeing the other two gone. They're nothing but ashtrays and liability.
Would you like to make a motion to that effect?
I motion to remove the two barbecues on the north end, south of Warner Park.
We have a second to that motion?
Second that motion to remove those two barbecues.
Have any further board discussion? Okay, we have any homeowner discussion? Looks like Tess put her hand back up. Go ahead, Tess.
Okay, as far as the light goes, I don't care about the barbecue, but the light, are we talking about the basketball court?
No, we're talking about the Ramada and Play Yard north of Warner.
Okay, I'm fine then. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, the lights on the basketball, I think were before us were determined that was probably not, the homeowners around that area didn't like that idea.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Bill.
Is that light on a timer?
There is no light. They're discussing whether they should put a light in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought basically, like you said, the hey or nay is that before on
No,
previous.
it's to install a light, and then we go look at solar or something.
I don't have a problem with installing a light. It's just as long as there's a timer so that at a certain time it automatically goes off and you can't turn it back on.
Okay. Current motion is actually on barbecues.
Okay. But I'm done.
Okay. All right. John, you have your hand up, John. I'm going to unmute you. If you're addressing barbecue motion, that's the appropriate thing to talk about barbecue motions. If you bring up anything else, sir, I'm going to mute you back again. Is that understood? Okay, I'm allowing you to unmute. Go ahead. Okay, well, I let him unmute and it didn't happen. All right, all in favor of removing the barbecues motion.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes. We'll get that done. Did you want to discuss the light anymore? Okay, so there's no motion on the light. Okay. That would be it for the formal agenda. We have a homeowner forum. If a homeowner would like to bring up a item for a future agenda, this would be the appropriate time to do that. Okay, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn, board.
I'd
Make a
like to make
motion to-
motion we-
Oh,
Nope,
Bill has a
got his hand
question.
up.
Bill, you raising your hand? You're waving goodbye. Let me see, moved on my list.
So
ahead, Bill.
what was the
Go ahead.
outcome on iron rod fencing on the park? Are we at a conclusion? Where are we at with the status of the replacing the fence, repairing the fences?
The board is going to review the 435-page report we got on all the community walls and prioritize the servicing and repair of all the walls in conjunction with that particular walls also.
Okay, because yeah, that's been going on since last summer.
Yes, it has.
Yeah,
And
okay,
we've done a little bit to it, but the whole thing, needs to be done in context with the major repairs or the bigger picture.
okay, that was all.
I think
Thank you.
the study's been going on since last summer as well.
Yeah, the study took forever. We, I think, I don't know, the word is chartered, but we approved the approval of the request was back in June, I believe, or maybe May or something. And it took that long to even get it from the engineering company. So welcome to COVID. Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn, board.
Motion, we adjourn.
Have a second?
Second the motion.
Any further discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Tess may have her hand up.
Was that
I don't know.
Tess? Are you having a hand up or waving? Nope. She says no.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. We're going to go into executive session at this point. I'm going to ask all homeowners to sign off.